Terror suspects in America could be held in prison indefinitely without charge or trial. That's if the Senate passes a controversial bill which has already been signed off by the White House and the House of Representatives. The military will be able to take custody of alleged terrorists virtually without question. Critics say it would be a stark violation of human rights. Well, let's get some reaction to this from John Glaser, assistant editor at antiwar.com, who joins us now. Thank you for joining us. The White House initially opposed the bill. Why has it changed its mind?
Well, the White House initially explained that it would veto the bill because these provisions mandating military custody amounted to a restriction of the president's authority. But in truth, it's reasonable to assume that a veto threat was mere political theater because Senator Carl Levin, one of the provision's primary authors, revealed during Senate debate that it was the Obama administration itself who requested the inclusion of language mandating military detentions, including U.S. citizens in that language. So you could say the administration never really changed its minds. It was just sort of doing it for public consumption.
Now, how do you expect the international community to react, though? What can they do about it, if anything?
Well, I mean, the international community may condemn the act, but, I mean, Human Rights Watch has already condemned it, calling it a historic tragedy for rights. But I doubt the international community will do anything about this because the bill merely codifies into law the status quo. I mean, that is to say, the government has already assumed that they have the power to detain U.S. citizens indefinitely without trial. That's what Guantanamo Bay is, essentially. The targeted assassination of U.S. citizen Anwar al-Awlaki proves again that the government has already, in every practical sense, dismissed the due process rights for Americans. So whatever the international reaction to this is, I don't expect it to be any more significant than what they've already objected to.
You mentioned Guantanamo Bay there, and of course one of President Obama's election promises was to close the center. Why hasn't that happened?
I'm skeptical it was ever Obama's plan to actually do that. I mean, he faced some congressional backlash for wanting to close Guantanamo so early, but he's already agreed to indefinite detention for the people that are left into Guantanamo, and this bill that we're talking about has within it language that would prevent the transfer from Guantanamo to U.S. prisons and any sort of U.S. trials for the people that are still at Guantanamo right now. So, you know, I think that people were just fooled by Obama's promises regarding Guantanamo.
And historically, I mean, the last time Congress passed indefinite detention legislation was during the communist hunting MacArthur era in the 1950s, but was vetoed by the then president. Is Washington really prepared to cross that line now?
Well, my understanding is that Congress overrode that 1950 veto by Truman, and so there was a sort of anti-communist hysteria back then, and right now there's an anti-Islamic terrorism hysteria now, and I think we're in another sort of era like that. So obviously, since this law merely codifies already existing status quo policy by the government, yeah, it seems unfortunately like Washington is ready to do this yet again.
What's likely to happen then in the Senate, in your opinion? Will it actually go through?
Oh, yes. I mean, it's almost certain. The Senate already passed a version of this bill, and the vote was 93-7. So only 7 senators object to the literal evisceration of the Fifth Amendment. So, yeah, it's expected to pass the Senate. It's already passed the House, and Obama is expected to sign it before the end of the week.
Okay, John Glaser, assistant editor at antiwar.com. Thank you for your thoughts today here in RT.